Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up for you. Bank of America getting serious on crypto. And could the XRP ledger be the base layer for national banking in the United States? Oh, somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $3.7 trillion for cryptocurrency. The market is off 5%, but Bitcoin's still pushing 103,000 plus. It's holding its own. Ethereum 3,200 plus, XRP 310 right now. We're off 6.6 on the 24. We're still up by 20.7 on the 7-day here. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's look at the range of price, ranging between 301 and 335. We're sitting just above the bottom range here. Now, with that being said, we have a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, and it's all really good. But let's talk about this first here, and it's I Trust Capital. What are you doing? Why not buy your crypto in a Roth IRA and get it tax-free when you're 59 and a half? Listen, I've said it a million times. The only thing better than buying crypto is buying tax-free crypto, or roll your 401k over into your I Trust Capital account, your 403b, 457 and more. They got all kinds of options to help you out. Get your own back office here and really build a portfolio for your retirement that empowers you and your family. That's what we're talking about. Link underneath the video. Don't mess around. It is a remarkable opportunity, and it's the only place currently that a retail investor can get institutional grade custody. Yeah, just by being a customer. Well, soon Trump is to sign executive orders easing bank ownership of digital assets, says Jeremy Allaire. We talked about it in the first video this morning. It still hasn't happened. I know a lot of people are getting jittery, and I think that's why the crypto market is off by 5% right now. But stay with me. We have some information for you. You'll be very excited. Circle CEO Jeremy Allaire has revealed expectations that President Trump will soon issue executive orders designed to accelerate the integration of digital assets into the U.S. financial system. You hearing this? These potential orders could enable banks to hold digital assets, offer them to clients, and incorporate them into portfolios, signaling a seismic shift for the industry. Not only in the United States, but globally, as governments in other countries seek to introduce similar policies in order to remain competitive within financial markets. Tether's USDT, which currently dominates with approximately 2/3 of the USD-backed stablecoin market share, recently announced its relocation to El Salvador to take advantage of the country's favorable regulatory environment. This move has sparked debate about whether its stronghold is at risk. Could this shift create opportunities for competitors like Circle's USDC, Ripple's Real USD, and PayPal's PYUSD to capture the market share? I think the answer is yes. How much is the real question. Then, just to touch on this briefly, Commissioner Caroline Pham has been appointed as the acting interim head of the CFTC. I love this. So pro-crypto, brilliant mind, great fit. I hope she's solidified as the commissioner before long. Meanwhile, President Trump has also selected Commissioner Mark Udea to be acting chair of the SEC until Paul Atkins is brought in. Now, this is really amazing, too. You talk about a dream team between those two alone. New from Eleanor Terrett, President Trump appoints Mark Udea acting chair of the SEC. Now, under Mark Udea's leadership, the SEC is poised to begin reversing policies established by Progressive Chair Gary Gensler, who officially resigned from the position on Monday. Good riddance, Gensler. Chris Giancarlo comes in with a very important endorsement, I believe. American capital markets are in great hands with Mark Udea as acting SEC chairman, a commission veteran with experience across Washington. He is smart, competent and effective, he'll immediately begin repairing a sadly damaged agency and bring it back into service for American economic growth and prosperity. Well said, Chris Giancarlo, and we're going to hear from him again in just a moment. This is breaking right here. Rex Osprey filing for a long list of ETFs here. This from Eric Balkunas from Bloomberg here. You see Rex has filed for Doge ETF, a Trump ETF, a Bitcoin ETF, Solana ETF, Bonk ETF, and an XRP ETF. ETH as well, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, another one added to the list. And then here's Mark Yuso, who is a huge XRP hater, and he's coming to a realization that we've been at for quite some time. Take a listen.
The one piece of legislation that is likely to happen, the other stuff, there's a lot of talk that they'll expand beyond just Bitcoin to now, XRP and Cardano and Hedera. And look, those founders have been buddying up to the administration and to Eric, and I think Eric's driving a lot of this, his son. So
they're buddying it up. They're buddying up to him. It isn't that the technology is just good enough and being recognized to be superior to Bitcoin. No. It's because he's buddying up. And Mark is having trouble here, but keep listening.
See, but the case for the strategic Bitcoin reserve, because Bitcoin is digital gold, everything else has different roles. Something that could happen, I don't know if it'll happen the first 100 days, Abs, but there's some talk. This will make the XRP people really happy. There is some talk that XRP could be utilized and or ordered to be used for a central bank digital currency or as the base layer for national banking.
That doesn't make me happy because I've already known it, Mark. What makes me happy is hearing you have to admit it.
I don't know if it'll happen or not, but that's one that if that does happen, that changes things. It's kind of like...
No, things have already changed. What's happening now is Mark Yuso is catching up to where we've already been. That's why we were sued, Mark, is because we actually have the ability to affect utility and disrupt markets, right? Mark is struggling here, but Mark is coming to the realization. Mark needs to understand you're not breaking news for us, Mark. The only breaking news is you having to admit it. Remember when Ripple confirmed that U.S. banks will want to use XRP after the victory back in 2023? Well, I think the floodgates are about to open soon to be open with banks rushing to provide crypto services. Remember this from Stuart Alderati back when we first got the first decision on the part of the Ripple case? Ripple is confident U.S. banks will start wanting to use XRP for cross-border transactions after judge gave firm partial victory in its fight against the SEC. That was from General Counsel Stuart Alderati back on July 17th after that July 13th ruling. And what about these banks using XRP Ledger as a base layer? Well, like I said, Mark Yuso is only breaking news for himself. The only breaking news there is watching a Bitcoin maxi have to say it because we've already known it. This is James Wallace talking about Bank of America, Merrill Lynch.
U.S. major banks on Ripple, question here. We're working very closely with Bank of America, Merrill Lynch. They are one of the 7 core banks which are helping us create our governance structure. So the complete list is Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, CIBC Canada, Royal Bank of Canada, Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi, which is the 4th largest bank in the world, Santander Group, number 19 worldwide, and Standard Chartered Group, and Westpac Australia. And we chose those banks to give us a good global spread around the world. So we have very good input from different markets and different thinking.
There you have it. I don't think Mark's familiar with that video. And I don't think Mark's familiar with the stance of the CEO for Bank of America either, which has hundreds of patents in distributed ledger technology, and a good handful of those pertain directly to Ripple's technology. Breaking: Bank of America CEO says the financial industry is ready to adopt crypto payments if regulators give the green light. Will Bank of America be the first bank offering cryptocurrencies to Americans? Asked Bank XRP. I think there is a high possibility that that's a yes. And here's Bank of America CEO right here. Take a listen.
Still 4,000 banks, so it's not like there's considered the disaggregation in this industry.
Let me ask you a separate question, and Becky's got one back in Washington, but on crypto. We just had Brian Armstrong sitting in the seat that you were in, and obviously there's a lot of excitement about crypto. The banking business, for the most part, has stayed away from crypto. Given President Trump's full-throated support for crypto, do you imagine Bank of America is going to be full on in the crypto business if we have this conversation 12 months, 24 months from now?
I'd separate out this sort of crypto versus stable assets and digital movement of money, because we already move the vast majority of our money digitally. Our consumers do, our companies do. And so the question is, what's the business practice that you have to move another type of currency? So if the rules come in and make it a real thing that you can actually do business with, you will find that the banking system will come in hard on the transactional side of it, non-anonymous, transactional, verified, et cetera, because we have to, because it's just another way our customers are going to.
The other thing we were talking about was the possibility that Bitcoin and some of these cryptocurrencies actually are a threat to the U.S. dollar. Scott Bessent's talked about needing the U.S. dollar to be super powerful.
Yeah.
Is it a threat?
I think there's a whole bunch of dynamics about all the trade and all the consumption of the U.S. consumer and all the stuff that goes on. But I think we do need a strong U.S. dollar. We need a U.S. dollar to be reserve currency. It's good for our country. But what I'm saying is, if you go down the street here and you go in and buy lunch,
right.
If you can pay with Visa, MasterCard, a debit card, Apple Pay, et cetera, this will just be another form of payment in an instantaneous cash transfer. And so I think if it becomes regulatory okay, which it wasn't before, and that's one of the issues, you'll see the banking system enter with. We have hundreds of patents on blockchain already. We know how to enter the field. When you get to the investment side and the Bitcoin stuff, that's really a separate question. That's more on the investment side. From the transactional side, I think you'll see the banking industry make moves.
Well, somebody might want to start talking to Mark Yusko, let him see that video, because this is another piece that he's going to need. You might want to show him this exchange between Fred Thiel and Chris Giancarlo, by the way, who will be at XRP Las Vegas. And you may want to join us on stage there and see that fireside chat we're going to have with the Honorable Chris Giancarlo. He's talking to the chairman and CEO of Mara Holdings here, and he's saying basically the fair weather winds are beginning to blow as Bank of America CEO Bank says, we'll jump into crypto payments if regulators allow it. And Chris Giancarlo comes in and says, trust me, Fred Thiel, it's going to happen. Yeah. And then there's this. We still haven't seen the crypto executive orders, but they're coming. And you know how I know that they're coming? And I wanted to see them on day one, and I didn't. But I know that they're coming because they're still appointing Paul Atkins to the SEC. They're still putting Commissioner Pham in as the interim head of the CFTC. We still have Steve Bissent appointed to be the U.S. Treasurer, and he says that Bitcoin is freedom. So these things tell me that we're going to get them, and he's dealing with some other issues, national and global issues. It'll all come in its time. And I wanted it yesterday too, but I believe it'll still come. Because the reality here is that, we are seeing more signs. CoinGecko adds made in the USA category after Trump announced removing taxes for US-made cryptos. Now, this doesn't in itself guarantee that that's going to happen, but his son, Eric, has gone and doubled down last week, I believe it was, and saying that it's still going to happen. The exchange is now making the change and identifying U.S.-made cryptos. Not to mention the fact that if you're going to have XRP help settle things like payments on the back end of the national banking base layer like FedNow, or whether it's using assets like XRP to help settle derivatives for the DTCC and the International Swaps Derivative Association. How does cap gains benefit? It doesn't. You're telling me that all these banks and institutions are going to use it for payments every day, and then at the end of the year, if the price went up, they got to pay capital gains on it? It doesn't sound right to me. Now, I'm not an economist, and I'm not a lawyer, but something about it not having cap gains makes sense to me because I believe XRP's money. So that's why it makes sense to me. You know, and it's like David Schwartz has said, and a few people in the crypto space end up getting rich in the process. Well, who cares, right? Who really cares? I'm paraphrasing. Vincent Code says this pretty well. The entire crypto industry is sourpuss after Trump not mentioning crypto during his inauguration speech. I don't understand this. He attended a crypto ball, and he even launched his own meme token the day before. Don't you understand that it's a done deal? Things will move quickly in the next few weeks, but rest assured, crypto is now mainstream. Ripple and XRP announcements and breaking news will likely come out in the next 3 months. Hold and be patient. Not long now. P.S. We are 5 times from November, and that in itself is amazing. It's absolutely right. It's absolutely right. There's no question about it. Then here, this follow-up thread. Bitcoin losers expect him to mention strategic Bitcoin reserve, and I told them there won't be one. He just used that to get people onto the Trump train. He'll be involved in crypto like dumping Bitcoin to pay for a wall and XRP to move the dollar around. Vincent comes back in and says there's a small chance that an unfriendly state like Russia or China is Satoshi. Do you think that a country would risk billions and trillions in strategic Bitcoin reserve when they have no clue who created it? And the thing is, we do know who created it. The Department of Homeland Security does. But the fact remains is, how do we know that some whales like China, North Korea, or other bad actors around the world aren't holding massive amounts of it? And if the U.S. puts Bitcoin in the strategic reserve, it ends up blowing up their bags at the same time. I think we need that answer before Bitcoin can be in that reserve, or any other token with any kind of question over it that way. You answer those questions, and then we can talk about it. But until then, I think it needs to be a basket, and anything that goes in that basket needs to be completely transparent. XRP breaking out of the bull flag on the 4-hour. XR Punky says this is a technical target for $5, and those of you who bought XRP below 50 cents will have a 10x your money once we reach that $5 mark. It's not financial advice from him, me, or anyone else. It's just our digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.